Mobster Boss Radio Live is not intended for anyone under the age of 18. If you are under the age of 18 and still here from this point on, we assume you are here with the consent, approval, and supervision of a parent or guardian. With that said, here's Lester.
Candy here. Foreplay. I just want to fuck. You're listening to Mobster Boss Radio Live. Radio Live. Radio Live. Radio Live. Radio
Back by popular demand.
Let's get ready to rumble!
JD. Sunny.
And Lester.
Let's do it then!
Ang susunod na palabas ay rated PG.
You're listening to Mobster Boss Radio Live.
I'm gonna hold you in my arms, baby, never let you go. Hone on my bone, beat my meat, ain't it sweet? What a treat, drool on my tool, ain't it cool? How? Well, hello. Lester Bartholomew Jones at your service. I'm going to be in your ear until I get ready to quit being in your ear. Oh, me. You know, it's been a little while since I broadcast, and I thought I'd get on since JD and Sunny did their show earlier in the week. They went ahead and skipped on Friday. They had other things going on with that terrestrial thing that they do. So I thought I better get on here and do some broadcasting. Wow, I see a lot of things have been happening on Spreaker lately. JD and Sunny showed me the letters, apparently, that people are getting about the copyright infringement. And, you know, all I can say to that is I'll say the same thing that they said on their show. You know, I'm not surprised, and I don't know why anybody else is, and I can't imagine that any one of you out there that broadcast music, I cannot imagine that you're mad about this. I mean, it's the law. That's the way it is. You stole the music, you got by with it all this time, and you've been broadcasting. Hey, now it's time to think about what you're going to do when faced with that decision as to what you're going to do. I mean, are you going to stand up to them? I mean, they're going to remove your shit anyway. What are you going to do? Are you just going to wait until that happens? Or are you going to do like Ace Man? Fuck them. I ain't got that letter. Fuck them. Fuck them. You know, well, of course, we already know he's a tard, and you would expect that from a tard, but not everybody out there is a tard. Most of you people are just doing what you think you can do, but it may be time for you guys to try to think about putting together some original content. I mean, why not? I mean, do not confuse the fact that you put together a playlist, the same type of playlist that anybody can put together for their iPod, their iPad, their Android, their iPhone, their computer, their MP3 player. Everybody can put together a playlist. And for some reason, some of you jackasses out there seem to think that this is talent. You think that this is talent. My rock and roll is great. Your rock and roll is the same rock and roll that everybody else has. Jesus Christ. And we know for a fact that the majority of you people stole your rock and roll to start with, got it from download sites and torrent sites, and if you by chance paid for one of those songs, it does not give you the right to broadcast. That's just the fucking law, man. I don't know when you goddamn rocket scientists are going to wake up and realize that one of these days, I mean, with these letters going out, all of these things that are happening, telling people that they're not supposed to play copyrighted stuff What in the world are you people waiting for? Does somebody have to kick you in the balls? Why would you have to be told? You know, there's only one person that we talk to. When I say we, JD, Sonny, and myself got on the horn with several people. There's only one person that we talked to that said, well, maybe I could do a talk show. Maybe I could do, you know what? That is the only, everybody else, well, I didn't get a letter. Well, you know, I'm going to this and that. Well, how would you like to be part of a lawsuit? How would you like to be part? I mean, these letters that are coming out, even if they miss you in sending this letter out, apparently these letters are going to drag out over the next 30 days or so. So even if they miss you, why would you take this chance? Because you've gotten by with being a goddamn thief up until now? Do you feel like you have some kind of right to do this? Because Spreaker hasn't invoked all of their terms and conditions upon you? Just because they've let it go does not mean that they can't come up and just say, boom, done. I talked to one guy that got a letter, and he asked them, he said, well, what music have I violated the copyright with? Duh! Every goddamn thing you play. You do not have the proper license to play music and broadcast it to other people. You know, and if that's not apparent, you know, they actually sent him a list of some songs and said, well, these are the ones right now. Why would you sit and wait for them to come and kick you in the fucking balls? Regardless of where your location is, every one of these countries are in treaty with the other country, and they will enforce this shit. Spreaker's doing the right thing by sending out these letters of compliance, and that's what these are. These letters of compliance, Spreaker's trying to get themselves out of the legal loop on this. It's going to lay on your shoulders. How would you like, most of you guys out there drawing a government check, how would you like them to start taking your government check away from you? All you fucking people with your hand out, I got a disability. I eat too many hamburgers. How'd you like for them to come and take your fucking shit away? And you know what? Just as the goddamn, oh man, I can't even say this right. But you will blame somebody else because you're the goddamn thief. You're the music thief. By God, don't let anybody steal from you. I'll call the police. But then when you're stealing, and you're actually stealing money from somebody else, and you're causing their music to be performed, to be uploaded, stored, and downloaded by other people. And you want people to respect your rights, but you don't want to respect the rights of others. You know, which you know, I just don't get it. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. Why would you not head off these kind of potential problems? Or even better yet, why don't you just buy a fucking license? Why don't you just buy a license? You know, you want to get out here and act like you're some kind of hotshot radio DJ. Why don't you just buy a fucking license? Everything doesn't have to be free. Oh, well, I pay for my subscription with your goddamn government handout money. God damn it. What the fuck is wrong with you people? You know, I would hate to see you guys get kicked off of the airways. You know, there's a reason that a lot of other platforms out there just absolutely don't allow this, because they don't want to withstand all the barrage of legal bullshit that the RIAA and any other group like them can lay upon them. I don't understand. Jesus Christ, what in the fuck does it take? Why would you think that it's right for you to steal and nobody else to steal? Why would you think it's right for you to steal from the artist, but goddamn it, let somebody walk off with your fucking lawnmower? That's wrong. You think that Spreaker has to give you a list of songs that you're not in compliance with? No. What they're doing, though, is if they give you a list of a few songs, brother, that should be your first indication that you got a fucking problem. That ought to tell you that they are just trying to indicate that they are trying to comply with their own terms of service, and they're trying to show people, eventually they're going to come back and say, you know what, we've tried to show this guy. And you may think, well, I'm going to make them work to get this down. They don't have to work to get this down, bucko. They owe you nothing. You are buying time on here, and they don't even have to accept that. You don't even have the right to talk the way that you want to talk. The rights are what they allow them to be. Any of you that want to say, well, they're violating my right to free speech, fuck you. Get a goddamn number, you goddamn freeloading buffoons. You do whatever you want to do with that. I don't understand. What's it going to come to? What is it going to come to? That you have to be forced out? And you think, and listen to this, do you think that if you just, I'll do it when they send me a letter? How do you know that that's good enough? How do you know that since they don't see any effort on your part, like that goddamn Ace Man, that goofy motherfucker knows that he's stealing shit? And I've come to the conclusion now, JD and Sonny said that Gyps was a nice gal, and she probably is nice when she communicates, but she's as complicit as that goofy motherfucker that she lives with. She helps stack his goddamn numbers up and whatever the fuck he's trying to do. Goofy son of a bitches. I heard that goddamn conversation between them. How fucking insane do people have to get in order to get some kind of attention? Because trust me, you're going to get all the attention you want once they start coming after people. Well, they'll never do anything to me. I'm lawsuit proof. No, you're not. They'll sue you and get you involved in a civil suit, possible criminal activity, just because they fucking can. They'll make an example out of your freeloading ass. I hate it that this is going on. Even though we called this shot quite a while ago, it doesn't mean that we take solace in the fact that you guys are going to have a lot of problems. But you know what? The problem is that a lot of you listen to these people that think they know the law, the Wayne Pierces of the world that think I can give them instruction on how to do this and how to do that. One of these days Wayne is going to be spouting all of his shit, kind of like Lyndon LaRouche did. They spout all this stuff you don't have to do, and the government can't make me do this, and Lyndon LaRouche is spouting that usually from a goddamn jail cell, the fucking criminal motherfucker. I hate seeing that stuff, I really do. And you may think, well, no, you don't, because you're on here making such a big deal about it. I'm just trying to get it through your thick fucking skulls to some of you ignorant motherfuckers like Ace and various others that want to just continue to throw this shit out there. You start stealing shows like Adam Carolla's show and all of these other comedy shows. You start taking shows from television and putting them on there. I'm telling you, one of these days somebody's going to come up and kick you square in the balls. And if you're a female, you'll catch one square in the goddamn catcher's mitt. So, I don't know. Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe you just go away. I would hate to see that. And, it's a shame that things have to come to this, that people have to be forced into complying with the law. That, you got somebody like Dino out there, for example, that's probably broken every kind of copyright thing there ever was. He's infringed on more copyrights than just about anybody as far as the kinds of media that he puts out there. You know, this guy actually steals stuff from television shows and then rebroadcast it. I mean, what the fuck is that all about? I really doubt he'll ever stop stealing music and all that other stuff that he swipes, and he'll always be some guy that's going to always look for a shortcut and a free ride, I'm sure. But now apparently he's decided to jump on with little Nicky Larson. He's going to jump on board with them. And from what I understand, he says that he doesn't really believe in their militant ways, but he thinks that he needs to help warn the American people of the impending problems that the government poses and all the different conspiracies that are going on, and he wants to keep people out of danger while he steals copyrighted shit and plays it, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, how would you take... I mean, okay, you've got Nicky Larson and whatever he's going to call that show that they've spent a goddamn month trying to prepare for, getting ready to prepare for the first show. A month.
And now you dare enter my realm. You are not prepared.
Jesus Christ, do you know how long I prepared for this show? Long enough to put on my headphones and plug in my microphone and hit ready to broadcast. I mean, I of course thought about a few things, but they've been preparing a month producing shit, and can you imagine? I'm sure they're going to try to overproduce stuff in their limited abilities, and they're going to try to, I don't know what they're going to do. I honestly don't know. I know what their message has been, because you got to remember, this guy's never had an original thought in his mind. This was the host, Nicky Larson, was the host of a Spreaker conversation that he thought you people were interested in, and he found out that you weren't. What can I say? But Dino's decided to team up with him. You know, and I find it really strange. You're going to have Dino teamed up with Nicky Larson. I guess BK will always be involved in that. And then, of course, they are following the lead, I guess, of Wayne Pierce. And do you know what all of these people have in common? Not a goddamn one of them has a fucking job. Not a fucking job between the four of them. Jesus Christ, I can't imagine. And I'm certain there's some state tit money coming in on 3 or 4 of those deals. You know what I mean? But Dino, he's decided that he's gonna join this movement, and I can't imagine what he's going. I mean, think about it. You're gonna have somebody coming on there, the Reverend Wayne Pierce, the views expressed. Okay, sounds legitimate. You're gonna have Nick Larson with whatever the fuck he's gonna call his show, right? Sounds legitimate. And then, with the correspondents in the field, Dino with the Fuck You Network. Now that sounds goddamn credible, doesn't it? A goddamn person with a child's fucking name. Somebody that just heard their name, the word fuck. Some little kid at like 7 years old heard the word fuck, and he just can't help himself. He doesn't just say fuck. He names his whole goddamn show, Fuck You. Now, there's a guy that wants to warn people. He wants to be taken seriously. And so he calls his deal the Fuck You Network. There you go. That's the guy I want in my corner. Yes, sir. But like I said, I don't think any of them have had an original thought in their mind. You know, you've got Reverend Wayne, who who tried everything under the sun to try to make it. This guy, he tried to be an actor. This guy, I did the show where I announced all the stuff that his friend, this woman, published kind of a resume of this guy. He tried to be an actor. He tried to be a comedian, a stand-up. Can you imagine? Boy, there you go, a stand-up comedian. Oh, my God. Then he got involved in ghost hunting. Oh, Lord, yes. Got involved in ghost hunting. Actually went and got some education with the University of Paranormal Activities or something. Some correspondence course out of somebody's garage somewhere. And he feels like that's something. And then he realized, though, even after he had done that, he felt obligated to follow through with something that he realized when he was 8 years old, and that was that he was a psychic medium. Well, that didn't work out too good for him. I mean, he was actually charging people to talk to the dead. And I guess there were a few people that would pay him. And then, of course, if somebody would bring him on a show and call him an expert. It's funny how all these nutbags always seem to kind of group together. Well, you've got this guy out here trying to figure out what he wants to do when he grows up and he's 50-something years old, whatever it is. You've got him trying to figure out what he wants to do when he grows up, and then all of a sudden, he just changes horses in the middle of the stream. Now, I'm not saying that this guy hasn't always fell for the conspiracy theory. I'm sure he has. But out of the blue, he's, because he's always put up the guy became a reverend and wanted to develop some kind of church. There you go. And there's always a fucking donate button somewhere to do with Wayne Pierce. Always a donate button, because that's what this guy does best, is keeps his hand stuck out. Well, little Nikki Larson jumps in and says, hey, I like what you're doing, because Wayne latched onto the tit and started looking at people like Alex Jones, who is making millions off of his lies, making millions off of the truths that he stretches, the garbage that he makes up, the conspiracy that he finds in everything, because Alex Jones, he started off this way. Alex knew what he wanted to be. He wanted to be a goddamn circle jerk man. He wanted to be the guy that dreamed up every goddamn conspiracy. Finally got his. In fact, he started off on a cable access show, right? Alex did. Started off on a cable access show out in Austin, and then a radio station said, "Hey, come on over here." And next thing you know, then they said, "Hey, we'll broadcast you on, I don't know, 50 radio stations." And so there for a while, he was doing good. He got on 50 radio stations, then he got on 100, and more power to him. But here's the deal. On his website, where his real money came from, see, people don't understand how true syndication works. Everybody thinks that like if somebody is syndicated, that they're getting paid by every one of these deals, and that is not the truth. The truth is, who they're being syndicated through a lot of times charges them to be on these different shows, to be on these different stations. And the really good thing is if you surround yourself by good salespeople and people that know what they're doing, then they will bring their own sponsors to the table with you, and then you're able to pay for your time on these syndicated radio stations, and you're able to keep the balance of your advertising money. It's a good thing. Now, there are some that if you get into a contract with a broadcast provider, they will pay you X amount of dollars per radio station that carries your show as well. But it's not a lot, but it comes out to be a lot if you're on a lot of radio stations. Well, Wayne sees that this guy has amassed a wealth of like between $5 and $10 million. Wayne says, fuck, that's all I've been trying to do. I tried being an actor, and that didn't work because I know Tom Cruise makes a lot of money. I figure I'm as good as him. Well, that didn't work out. Son of a bitch. And then he tried to be a stand-up comedian. That lasted probably 1 or 2 days. Then he went into the paranormal ghost hunting deal. There wasn't a big call for that. So then he decided he wanted to write a movie. And then he went out and solicited a whole bunch of people to send in their resumes because he wanted to put together a movie and try to market that movie. Well, that didn't work. God damn it, son of a bitch. What the fuck, Wayne? I'm on your side now. I'm punching on through this deal for you. I'm trying to make people understand how Nicky Larson jumped on board with you. So, God damn it, Wayne just cannot seem to he can't catch a break. Cannot catch a break. Was working at the goddamn casino as a custodian or something. I don't know what he did there exactly. Well, they let his ass go. God damn it. You know why? Me neither. But anyway, so he got off of that deal, runs on back, and he decides he wants to ghost hunt a little bit more, thinking that there would be some interest that he could stir up in that on a site that he had a big old donate button on, right? Well, that didn't work. Then, oh my God, here it is. The mother of all dreams. Wayne decides he's going to be a psychic medium, and he's going to charge people. Well, that didn't work out. There wasn't a lot of people wanting to talk to anybody dead, and they started kind of not buying his shit, I think. So then he sees Alex Jones, this fucking beacon in the night. Alex Jones is everywhere. He's challenging everybody to everything. He's figured out that everything out there is a possible conspiracy, and so Alex gets on some radio stations, and Alex then starts selling you $750 generators for $1,500. Buy my shit. He gets people to send in their DVDs and cuts a marketing deal with them and then cuts them out after he sells it. It's no big deal. It's all Alex's money. It's no big deal. Wayne liked that. Wayne liked that a lot. Wayne thought, shit, I need to do that. Shit, that's the answer. So Wayne puts together a show about doom and gloom, fear-mongering. That's it. That is the answer. I can tell people that the government's going to do this and they can never prove me wrong. I can tell them that the government's going to put them in a FEMA death camp because Alex said so. I can tell people that the government's going to take their guns away from them because Alex said so. Jesus Christ, this is the mother lode. Son of a bitch, I do not have to fake it with people when I tell them that I'm talking to their dead whatever, and I get it all wrong because I'm trying to guess and they're giving me no hint as to whether I'm telling them right, and then they tell me I've just missed this motherfucker by a mile. I don't have to get into that deal. This is a situation that I can get into, and I can say any goddamn thing I want to because you can't prove me wrong. All I got to do is just keep this up, and one of these days, I will be just like Alex Jones. Well, by God, Nicky Larson jumped up and said, Wayne, oh, Wayne, I'm over here, brother. And Wayne just welcomed him in because Wayne was looking for somebody to become his minion. He was looking for somebody to just jump on board and think that he is God. After all, he thinks Alex is God, and it's this is almost like passing respect up in the mafia. Good stuff, and they're excited. So Nicky has purpose now, and he decides to put together his own show, just like Daddy Wayne. God damn, this is going to be it. This is going to be the fucking mother load. Let's get to work, BK. Let's get to work, Dino and the Fuck You Network. Let's get to work. Let's produce stuff. We've got a show coming up here in a month. We better start getting ready. So for a month, they've been trying to put this together. This is going to be the best thing since smooth butter. Oh my God, it's going to be better than Barnum and Bailey. A sucker born every minute, and I can be the one feeding them all this shit. Do you believe that? I can get out here and talk just like Daddy Wayne, who's talking just like Big Daddy Alex. Son of a bitch. You know what? We can just say anything. Are you with me, BK? I am. Are you with me, Dino? Fucking A. Oh, fuck, man. You believe this? This is going to be... I cannot wait for their first show. They have been waiting to produce this. They have been producing this show, waiting to broadcast for a fucking month. And as soon as they do that month's worth of work, I will debunk in 15 minutes. JD and Sonny will debunk it in 10. It'll be all over. You know, and I think the thing that they don't realize is, and they don't take into consideration, is some of the things that Wayne says that they're following the lead of. Some of the things that Wayne says is going to get him into some huge trouble one day. When you start telling people to stand up against your government, it's one thing to try to hold your government accountable. That is one thing, and that's probably an important thing, that you hold your government accountable. But you do not try to form militia-type activity against your government. You do not tell people that they need to take arms against their government. I'm telling you, Wayne is asking for some huge problems in life. I mean, when you start telling people that you're coming for them, ask that boy, what was that guy last year, Brandon Robb? They put his ass in a fucking nut house for talking that kind of shit, because he wasn't just spewing stuff and saying certain things that might be, you can kind of question which way he was going with it. This guy was actually threatening violence against his own government. And you've got Wayne, who doesn't know any better. He wants to tell you that you are, excuse me, he wants to tell you that you're listening to a highly educated man. But this is a man that got his education by ripping off the government. He chose to get, according to him, he chose to get student loans and then has not paid them back. He's got 25 years. This is a motherfucker that wants to talk about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and everything, while at the same time, he's trying to beat his government out of the money that he owes. They lived up to their obligation, Wayne. They gave you the money that you asked for. They loaned it to you. You agreed. Your word is not shit, right? Because you agreed to pay these people back. You agreed to pay me back. I mean, I certainly don't think that I would see any of that. I'm not saying that. But the people, the American citizens, paid for your education, you freeloading motherfucker. And possibly your attitude about getting free shit is, maybe that's what's kept you out of a job. I don't know. We know we know your main minion, little Nicky Larson. This motherfucker has been a freeloader from the get-go. I cannot imagine why these people don't go out and get jobs. Dino, there, I'm going to tell you what, that is the whole ham sandwich there. Freeloading motherfucker. Jesus Christ. Won't even take care of his own kids half the time. I don't know. I just can't imagine what Dino would have to contribute to this. But then again, you've got little Nikki Larson who has anger issues towards women. So I don't know. Maybe they're all good for each other. I'm just not sure. And I just can't wait. I'm Nikki. I know you're listening. You can't help yourself, you little pipsqueak. You cannot help yourself. I know you're listening, and I'm telling you, I am waiting with bated breath until your broadcast. Oh, I cannot wait. And if you want to say, what, are you going to take clips off of my show? You fucking A right I am.
To answer your question there, Sonny, the reason why you don't ever hear about my wife is because she goes to bed at 9.
Okay, well then, you know what? But maybe you should pay attention to your wife instead of trying to run 20 hours of nonsense goddamn programming. You're just full of shit. You're just a goddamn attention whore. And all you've ever fucking done is got on and got you a bunch of goddamn weenie fucking roasters to get on and talk your shit, and you have not a fucking clue what the fuck you ever talk about. You're just nothing but a little fucking weenie that just needs a goddamn bit of attention. So go take your 5 fucking pills in your fucking life, you piece of fucking dog shit.
Oh, I'm the piece
you and
of
that goddamn moron that you're associated with is a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. You don't even have a clue what you're going to say. The only thing you got to do is pause and take a fucking breath. You piece of fucking dog shit. You're nothing but a goddamn loser. You're nothing but a fucking whining piece of fucking shit. A moron. You've never had a fucking radio show. You host a goddamn Skype conversation. You don't have a fucking clue where you're at, you piece of fucking human shit.
Yeah, and I imagine JD and Sonny are going to do the same. I imagine my old buddy Guy Shea's going to yank some shit off of there. I'm sure that you are going to have plenty of undocumented rhetoric to talk about, because we already know that you don't research properly. You know, when the Newtown shooting was going on, and it had already been established pretty much what happened. The night of the show, this piece of shit, this Nikki Larson and his goddamn crew of fucksticks get on and they start talking about shit. It's been all over the news. They did not even check out to see what was right. They had a million facts wrong about that was already established. And it was obvious to anybody listening. I went over and listened for about 15 minutes and you know, I started to use part of that as a deal, but I wasn't going to try to take advantage of that shooting. But, you know, leave it to little Nikki Larson. He thinks that if something bad happens in the United States, all he's got to do is put a title up about that and jump on there and talk about shit he knows nothing about. I mean, I'm surprised. I'll give him an intro to his show. He can do it in the way that he talks, but it would be, ladies and gentlemen, I come before you to stand behind you to tell you about something of which I know nothing about. That should be your fucking theme song, Nikki. I just can't imagine, and I'm really shocked that you're all excited about doing a show on Spreaker when, I guess, after we run you off, we did not intentionally run you off, but you decided you were going to go take it to the big house, right? According to you were going off to bigger and greener pastures, and everybody was going to be sorry. You were going to make it to the big time. Went and bought you a little $3 ice cast or shout cast package, and decided to try to sell that to people. And you couldn't even fucking operate that because you could not get along with the people that actually went along and felt sorry for you. Adam went along, and with all the problems that guy had with child support and his lack of child support payments at the time, you were asking him to pay your fucking bills, you fucking mooch. So you dump Adam when he gets tired of paying your fucking ride. And then you latch on to the big DC, who there's no love lost between me and the big DC, but I guess it's all good now. I don't know. But so then you latch on to the DC because he works on websites and knows how to do this, and he's putting your stuff together. And I'll be a son of a bitch if the same goddamn thing didn't occur. And I don't know about the exact thing that went along between you, but when I say the same thing did occur, I mean, what happened? You guys couldn't get along. All of a sudden, you know, you obviously, Nikki, have this little man syndrome. You're sitting around all 5'5" of you. I guess you really do have this little man syndrome, this Napoleon complex. Maybe that's why you ended up in big time trouble for all that stuff with your ex-wife. I don't know, but your temper gets way out of line, and obviously you can't even get along with anybody long enough to put something together. I can only imagine how this is going to work with Dino. This is going to be like the premiere episode of the Three Stooges. Jesus Christ. And then I don't know if BK's going to come along for that ride. I'm not sure. I do wonder, though, whatever happened, does anybody know if they ever picked up that pizza box off the floor after he had his kids eating the pizza along with the dog on the floor? When the dog was licking over the top of the pizza and he was telling the kids that the pizza's right there. Dog hair, fucking hair flying down all over this pizza. And he couldn't wait to get on the fucking internet. Jesus Christ. You know, I wonder, what causes trash? How does trash find each other like that? How does the trash of Nikki Larson, mold expert, how does the trash of that, how did BK find, how did they find each other? It makes you wonder how the universe works. Have you ever noticed that just these trashy fucking people always seem to find each other? I'm curious. Inquiring minds want to know. And you guys think I'm being rough on them. I know you do. Some of you people think, wow, man, you're being rough on these guys. I'm not being, I'm only telling the truth. I'm only telling the truth. But I noticed something when we're talking about all of this stuff, because apparently the main focus of little Nikki Larson or Jay Tower, what would be the absolute dream is if little Nikki Larson comes up with another new name. This guy cannot figure out what he wants to do. Hey, they had that radio show, right? They had that radio show, and then they jumped over to get their own little IceCast server or Shoutcast deal, whatever it was, and they decided to get them some call letters of an actual radio station. And they called themselves KTRN. Now, this was the next Spreaker, according to them. And here he is talking to some guy on Spreaker one day, or this is the word that I got. He was talking, and he was going, I think I need a new name. And the guy just sounded off a name like, he said, well, why don't you just call yourself Jay Towers? That's it. That's it. Jay Towers. Jay Towers. The Hour of Power with Jay Towers. Whatever the fuck. But it was KTRN radio. And, I just can't imagine. They spent all of their time fighting and arguing amongst each other all so much. And then when they split up, Jay Towers, Nick Larson, whoever, little Napoleon, the little man, the midget, whatever you want to call him, spent all of his time just badgering the fuck out of Adam when Adam left. And see while Nick was so wanting to be this big time broadcaster, Adam goes off and finally gets himself away from all the nonsense and the drama and the attempted suicides of Nick Larson and all of that type of stuff. He gets out of all of that drama and gets his goddamn child support stuff straightened up. More power to him. You know, the guy's working hard trying to keep things straight, and he's doing the best he can. You know, I had a conversation with Adam, and he said that guy was obsessed with Mobster Boss Radio. Just obsessed. He could not stand it. He would throw little fits. Oh, my God, he just couldn't stand it. These kinds of people, how do they find each other? Hey, guys, I realize that I am all over the road. I'm all over the road like a drunk driver today. And it's okay, because occasionally I just get the idea that it's fine for me to just talk about anything I want to talk about. It's my show, right? And I can do that. You know, speaking of my show, my wall, whatever the deal is, we don't ban anybody. Now, there's people that are trying to get our attention, that keep trying to talk about us, hoping that we would respond, and we just don't. We respond to who we want to respond to. I don't need some dope-smoking hillbilly motherfucker out of the hills of Kentucky. I have nothing in common with a cocksucker like that. I just don't. And I hear that he's leaving and going over and getting involved with a new deal and all of this. Let me tell you something. Mark my word that I said this on Saturday, March the 2nd. This motherfucker will never leave Spreaker. He will try his best to get people over there. He will try to Twitter himself into the Hall of Fame of shoveling shit. I don't know. But I am telling you, that motherfucker will never leave Spreaker, and the Spreaker player will never be off of his side.
That's pretty much all I got to say
Guaranteed.
About that.
You know what? It's just the way it is.
Long enough.
This guy sits out in the shack behind his daddy's house, smokes his fucking ganja.
I kind of enjoyed being out here with
that's all he does,
just
because
know where I want to go with what I want to talk
he
about.
Aspires to be. Have you ever noticed these guys?
Occasionally it's okay to do that.
I've said a long time ago,
I'm never really structured, but at least I usually have a point that I'm going to stay with. And tonight I realized I was all over the road like a viable issue in the United States. But it's okay to do that once in a while. Just kind of express yourself. Not really have any guidelines to go by tonight.
You're going to have some states that are going to say, okay, you can smoke it in Colorado.
So listen, I'm going to wrap it up. Be sure and listen to Big Tiny.
Federally